In this segment, we're going to be talking about reporting and statistics. And you can access that through the Reports menu from the left pull-out menu. And there's three separate pages, and we'll talk about the daily summary first. The daily summary lets you look back to a given snapshot of a day within the past 30 days. So it allows you to view the intersection traffic counts as well as the period length that ran over that course of the day. You can hover over the different points when it changed to see what the period length was and what time of day it changed, as well as the traffic counts over the course of the day. The next menu is the statistics page. In the statistics page, you can get more detail than the daily summary, and you can limit the time frame that you're searching. So in this case, let's look at February 12th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. In here, you can view the vehicle counts for that given time frame that you've searched, and you can hover over the different 15-minute increments that it reports and see what the traffic count for that increment was. If you only wanted to search a specific phase, for example, if you only wanted to look at phase 2, you can hide the other phases and just look at phase 2. Or if you wanted to look at phase 2 and 6, you can unselect phase 6 to redisplay it. The next tab is the TMC playback tab, and this allows you to view the traffic counts in a graphical format over the 15-minute splits over that duration that you've searched. The next tab is the green splits tab. In the green splits tab, you can view each phase by its minimum green time, its maximum green time over that given time frame, and the average green time. So for this respective intersection in this time frame that we've searched, you can see that for phase 3, the minimum time serviced was 6 seconds and the maximum time serviced was 31 seconds. And the average was 16 seconds for phase 3. You can view that for each phase as well as a phase distribution graph on the far right of the screen. The next tab is the pedestrian graphs. In the pedestrian graphs, you can view the amount of pedestrian actuations you had over that time frame. So the way it'll report is every 15 minutes it'll report how many actuations it had. And I should say, instead of actuations, it's actually reporting how many services that pedestrian phase had. So in this case, the pedestrian phase was serviced 6 times between 10:15 and 10:30. And it was serviced 2 times between 10:45 and 10:30. The next tab is the period graph. And in this case, it came back with it could not load the statistics for this time frame. And the reason it reports that is that your time frame you searched is too small. So if you bring it out and widen the time frame that you're searching, you'll see that it reports something. In this case, there's a time frame when the period length did change. So if we move that back to 10 a.m. and move to the count totals, you can see the count totals for that time frame, and then the final, as well as the pedestrian counts for that time frame. And then finally, you can see some processor graphs, which are primarily used for rhythm debugging purposes. The final page of the reports and statistics is the history viewer. The history viewer is extremely useful for troubleshooting and looking back what happened at a given time frame in a specific day. So like the statistics, it's kept 30 days in the past. And if you want any more data kept longer than 30 days, We do have an external tool that can run on a server or computer that can archive that data for longer durations. So in this case, let's look at a specific time frame. Let's say last week again, February 12th, and let's look between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. noon again, and we'll load the history. So what you'll see reported here is a variety of different states and a time frame for that. So what you'll see, the first one you'll see is right after 10 a.m. at 10 a.m. and 4 seconds, InSync serviced the phase 4 PED, and you'll see that by the text PED sent. The next row down, you'll see that InSync serviced a northbound vehicle movement, and it served it for 24 seconds. What's nice about that, if you follow to the right, is you'll see for each phase, when that light went green, InSync reports the queue, the wait time for each phase. So what that means is that for phase, when northbound through went green, there was a queue of 9 and a wait time of 1 second on that particular phase. And for phase 2, there's a queue of 12 and a wait time of 28 seconds. And it reports that all day long. And you can search for a given time frame and see exactly what was happening at the intersection at that particular time frame. Some other functionality in the history viewer is the ability to filter or highlight wait times. So if you want to highlight wait times over 30 seconds, you can enter that into that box at the top, and it'll highlight times when there's phases have waited longer than 30 seconds. Additionally, if you want to filter and only show states where there is a wait time of longer than 30 seconds, you can filter so that it'll only show states where there's longer than a 30-second wait time. It's an easy way for you to narrow down specific cases or scenarios. Okay, all right, some other functionality of this is that, let's say, this intersection, you've got a lot of pedestrian actuation, a lot of PED activity, and it clutters up your history viewer, and you don't want to see those. You can go up to the include box, and you can deselect the pedestrians, and it'll hide the pedestrians. Additionally, if you want to limit to only show certain vehicle phases, for example, northbound through, you can select that, and InSync will only display times when northbound through went green. And that's reporting and statistics in the InSync Web UI. In the next segment, we'll talk about settings and how to configure the Web UI.